What is your 2 a.m. like? Outside, while it's dark, some are fast asleep, while cities spark to life. Some things never sleep, like the lights on the London Eye, the street lights down your road, the night buses and night tubes. The city beckons you to keep it company through the cold night. The night is strangely beautiful. As the rush of people and cars subside, all you're left with is a tranquil silence. The wind sings you a passing lullaby, and you feel at home, in the midst of an empty city. As you take a walk in the silence, the city feels like yours to own. You can take a deep breath of the cool air, clear your head, and enjoy the space and freedom of the late hours. If you're in your bed, it's the perfect time to listen to your favourite songs as you look out the window and reminisce. Take a chance to think about life. Where you were, where you are now, and where you're going from here. These are some of the questions we might ask ourselves as we get more thoughtful during these quiet hours. This is No Badam Radio with Chez Mild, and today's theme is 2 a.m. As a university student, you would have had different experiences of 2 a.m. Staying up late to finish a piece of coursework or studying for an exam is something many of us have gone through. If you're pulling an all-nighter, 2 a.m. may just be the start of your night. Countless energy drinks and coffees have helped fuel our late nights working. For me, 2 a.m. is almost like a gamble. One day I'd be poring over work myself, or getting too invested into Netflix shows on another, or maybe even just overthinking. I think for me 2 a.m. is early enough to not feel guilty for staying up, but late enough to think deeply. Studying has also changed quite a lot because of COVID. Many university courses have moved to an online format, so for students living in different time zones, their daily life may not be the same as before. Some will have to work later into the night, while others work early in the morning, depending on your schedule. Let's hear our first story of the show, sent in by username Boo-ung-ee. I'm an absolute night owl. I like to start my day earliest at 9 p.m. I love the fact that most people are sleeping and resting, whilst I'm most active and productive. Morning people talk about how the morning air is so fresh and crisp, but I would argue that the quietness and coldness of night is just as satisfying and special. Going for a walk at 3 a.m. when there's just no one on the streets, and you see that neighbourhood fox. However, I do wish sometimes that I was an early bird. As they say, the early bird catches the worm. I'm starting a new job next week, which requires me to wake up at 8 a.m. Thank you, WFH. Would you have any tips on changing into a sleep pattern which would be more productive? Thank you for this. I actually find this so fascinating. The concept that we have of a peaceful morning and a peaceful night are so similar, yet so different. I've never truly been able to be a night owl, perhaps due to my upbringing and lifestyle, but I see it like this. The peace of a night is often self-centered. You get to feel like the only person in the world. But with a dawn kind of peace, you see the city wake up, and you feel like you're right on time to see the world come to life. I'm not entirely sure which of the two I myself fit into. Productivity-wise, undoubtedly, it's more efficient to be in sync with the working world. But how to achieve that? Everyone's different, but my biggest tip might be to, when you wake up early, try waking up really early, maybe even 5:30 or 4:30. Watch the sun rise and do an activity that you really enjoy doing, whether it be a hobby or exercise that you normally do, and this will hopefully plant a very positive image of this sleep schedule into your subconscious. Maybe that will work for you too. But enough rambling from me. First up, I'd like to play a song called Wavy by Parknulha. This one's to motivate you on a dark night. This sort of ambient instrumental is something quite a lot of people vibe to in these early hours. The absence of language definitely helps plenty of people concentrate, particularly when working on late night assignments. I think the track really does try to depict a sense of night tranquility, lets you float away and get lost in your thoughts. A thank you again to Parknulha for the music. Something else a lot of us are missing so badly is nightlife. 2 a.m. for some is a time to be partying, whether it's at a friend's house or a club. It's a time to relieve stress and forget about our worries for the night. Even just drinking with friends or having an interesting conversation can be so fun and rewarding. But again, COVID has affected nightlife too, with restrictions and lockdowns preventing us from having social gatherings like before. I'm going to be honest here, clubbing isn't my greatest forte, nor is any form of getting drunk in huge crowds. Yet COVID does have me wanting to go out, even just to a pub with my friends, and it's a stark representation of just how much I myself, or people, miss nightlife. I do really miss having drunken conversations with my closest friends, just being able to forget stress and enjoy the moment. Humans, at the end of the day, are social creatures, so missing a night out and missing socialising is normal here. Especially so, as 2 a.m. is for many of us a reserved time for socialising. But when we're not out working or partying, 2 a.m. gets us thinking. We start thinking more deeply about problems that have just gone past us, unnoticed in the morning. Small things that wouldn't normally bother us, as we'd be too busy during the day. Our next story is from username Nacho. 2 a.m. It's a time when you naturally become sentimental. I think I'm able to focus best at this time. I can write my essays better, and I just start thinking about random things. If I don't get over this time period well, I just end up being awake all night. The word sentimental is said to describe how, as time passes and as the seasons change, as people come and go, as we grow older, we start to have feelings that we couldn't feel when we were younger. And I think that's true. At 2 a.m. I feel sad, but I'm not sad. I feel gloomy, but I'm not gloomy. And that's why, at this time, I'm full of emotions. If I'm to say one thing from personal experience, don't post on Instagram at 2 a.m. You'll be kicking yourself later. Personally, this is what I as a person can relate most to. I can't call myself the most diligent worker, nor am I the biggest party lover. Instead, I love to overthink. This really does produce mixed results, much like the late night Instagram post disaster. But at times, I think it's a quiet chance to reflect on our own lives. We live in a world that's so hell-bent on achievements and milestones and progress, and 2 a.m. is like a rare pit stop. I always try to take the time to gather my thoughts, ask myself whether I'm content with the life I'm living, and it does produce positive changes in my philosophy to life. Simply put, human sentimentality, as frustrating as it can be, in some ways, is quite a beautiful part of our psychology. Actually, the next song I have ready is one by myself, called The Alchemist. As narcissistic as this might seem, I wrote this myself at 2 a.m. And it's just a messy jumble of the thoughts I had on life, in that very sentimental state described by Nacho. It's about life, money, and my values. Hope you enjoy.
Like a long-winded journey across the 7 seas. 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 So here we go, money was never the motivation. I never took it slow, never tried out meditation. Didn't want to be hung up on cash, buying clean powders and other forms of medication. Always held the middle ground, neutral acted mediation. Felt like money would become the iron cut that took too much to break down, hindered the creation. Blurred the imagination till we were too blind to see the real truth. It's like who doesn't like money? I'd love to stack it up, but on the flip side I'd much prefer to stack the love. Another stream, another play, it's heavier than a pocket full of gold medallions. I'm not normal, maybe I'm a little crazier than the average folk on the street, but I know bills don't pay themselves, and I know money opens up many roads, but whilst I'm well fed and well rested, you know. The beats pay the bills of my freedom. They buy the in-app purchases to the base of my happiness. They mark my roots, the streets and the homes where I came from. So it's an anchor I don't want to lose, but one I want to express. So maybe things will change when I'm beginning to feel the need for money and fancy clothes, or maybe just the basics, but for now it takes the back seat. You can ask me where the money's at, I'll reply, man, forget that. Life's out and about, enjoying it while it's sunny. Working 2 jobs with a future worth 6-digit salaries. I might be hypocritical, but when it comes to music, my gold medal is a number by the play button, not the receipt that comes from the distributor saying here's your pay. I'll take it as a plus, but it'll never be my weapon, because I don't want to be at war with this world. I want peace to happen. John Lennon had similar views too, but I'm not trying to imagine, because I'm already living life above this ocean of cash. Above this ocean of cash. So take your ocean of cash. Above this ocean of cash. So take your ocean of cash. It's like a long-winded journey across the 7 seas, battling the 7 sins, winters in the breeze, guided by the love of adventure. Call me a shepherd, I need to meet my king of Salem to find me my treasure. It's like a long-winded journey across the 7 seas, battling the 7 sins, winters in the breeze, guided by the love of adventure. Call me a shepherd, I need to meet my king of Salem to find me my treasure. It's like a long-winded journey across the 7 seas, like a long-winded journey across the 7 seas, like a long-winded journey across the 7 seas, like a long-winded journey across the 7 seas.
I can't really talk so much about my own music, but hopefully it can slightly convince you of times where the deep thoughts at 2 a.m. can produce something. 2 a.m. may make us think of certain people. Maybe you had an argument with your close friend and you're worrying about how to go back to the way things were before. Or maybe you're thinking of a loved one who may be in a different city or country. Or is it someone that you like and you're struggling in your head trying to figure out how to express your feelings to them? Let's read our last story, sent in by username Kim. I know you came to me because you had feelings for me. It's not that I wasn't interested in you. The things you liked, the things I liked, the things you didn't like, the things I didn't like. It was nice to come to terms with all of these. But I was afraid that you were becoming a big part of me in my life. And I was so afraid of myself that I wouldn't be a good enough person for you. Afraid that you'd be uncomfortable with my feelings. So it was almost my pride that made me wish that you'd take that step closer to me. I think I was afraid that you'd mean so much to me. I don't know why I became more of a coward as the years went by. That's it really, that was why. But even if I can't see you, I keep thinking of you. I act like I'm comfortable around you, but I'm really not. I want to tell you I miss you. But at the end of the day, I just end up covering myself with my duvet. I hate how frustrating I am, but what can I do? It's just who I am. It's frustrating how afraid I get even before anything has even started, but what can I do? If we meet by chance again, I want to smile and tell you I missed you. And let's pretend nothing happened and go for dinner together. From someone who can't say their true feelings to you. We can't ignore romantic overthinking when we talk about 2 a.m. And we left this for last because it's something that surely everyone can relate to a certain degree. Very similarly to the aforementioned sentimentality, we tend to seem to, in general, become a lot more romantically emotional. Sometimes it's a bit more positive. We get this sudden boost of confidence to maybe confess our feelings towards someone. Sometimes it feels like you're never going to get the chance to tell someone how you feel. Human relationships are so complicated. There's no guidebook, no answer, no solution to the way we feel. And I think Kim's story here is a deep reflection of that, of emotions being hidden, being hard to grasp, evasive, and ultimately simply not being in sync. 2 a.m. is the only time there is to ponder over thoughts like this, and for Kim, I can only hope that as another human being, that the certain someone you wrote this to does come back into your life, and things do indeed go well. There's no doubt that 2 a.m. in the early hours is a unique time, where both so much and so little can go on. And this brings us to the end of today's radio. And I have to say, it was a privilege to be able to share people's thoughts and stories, provide some of my own, and enjoy some good music. Thank you for all the stories and songs submitted by our listeners and artists, and thank you to Doubledam for the opportunity. If you enjoyed Doubledam Radio today, please make sure to check out the other themes on the Doubledam website. I'm going to close today with a song called Give Her by Nake. It's about missing someone you love desperately at 2 a.m, who is too far for you to reach. You hear about her struggles in this new place and you feel helpless, so all you can do is give her good vibes and happiness through the phone. I've been your host, Chez Mild. Thank you for listening.
Oceans drift far and wide, and I'm sat by some random stars. Everything's meant to be. How come you're so far from me? Wonder fills my heart. Step back to see how far. Gotta skip these stones to reach your shore. One day we'll reach you, I'm sure. Who do you think about at night? All I do is think about you. All I do is think about you. You're keeper, you're mine, your handball is on my mind. You're keeper, not mine, your handball is all I think about, all I think about. Call to see if you've been staying clean. Last time we spoke, your thoughts layered in smoke, evading your fears with all of that snow. Truthfully, when I heard you were hurting, I wanted to run to you with the next play. What was I doing? Sat behind a screen, read through my phone, ready to leave. Who do you think about it? All I do is think about about you. 너의 기분, 너의 마음, 너의 행복 is on my mind. 너의 기분, 너의 마음, 너의 행복 is all I think about. So give it to her.